strong contender for the NWA Rookie of the Year, facing that man, Hack Myers. We're so happy you can join us here exclusively on Eastern Championship Wrestling Home Video, the hottest ticket in town. He was labeled a pretty boy from the hardcore fans here, but it didn't take him very long to shed that image. He can take it to the best of them.
House on the left, this is Hack Myers.
Hello, Mrs. Jones. I'm here for your daughter. Well, there's something wrong with Myers. He's got a chemical imbalance of some sort.
From Dreamland, USA.
Well, Tommy Dreamer stomping on a Rangers jersey,
45 pounds.
getting some sympathy, some support from these great Philadelphia Flyer fans. Either that or he knows that I'm from New York and he doesn't like me very much. Dreamer nose to nose with Hack Myers, and Hack Myers lets Dreamer have it. Dreamer slaps him right back. Tommy Dreamer, Japanese underhook arm drag by Tommy Dreamer. He will not be intimidated by anybody. Dreamer now drapes the jacket over Myers' head. Reversal by Hack Myers. Hack Myers cannot see. Bulldog by Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer's off to a fast start. Hack Myers heads for higher, lower ground on the outside, clinging desperately to the guardrail and receiving a little sympathy from the jammed house here at the ECW Arena. Always a sellout here in South Philadelphia. We don't give tickets away. And you won't find this video broadcast on the Disney Channel for that matter either. Or Court TV. Hack Myers makes his way back into the ring. Myers with a couple of kidney shots, plain and simple, on Tommy Dreamer. Dreamer face first into the top turnbuckle. Hack Myers going up top. Haven't seen him do that before. Won't see him do it again. Hack Myers down to the canvas. Tommy Dreamer now taking over on Hack Myers. Nice knife edge chop by Dreamer. Make it 2. Irish whip by Dreamer. In goes Hack Myers. Back body drop on Hack Myers. Side headlock and a takeover by Tommy Dreamer on Hack Myers. Myers grabbing a handful of Dreamer's hair. Cover! Well, a cover, but a pinning predicament anyway. Dreamer in a dangerous position there, but always confident. Really knew he wasn't in danger of being pinned. Dreamer ringing the bell of Hack Myers. He's looking to answer the phone. Dreamer gets caught. And Hack Myers ducks out of the way of a wild left or right foot of Tommy Dreamer. Hack Myers saw that one. Gotta give Hack Myers credit. He's no slouch. He's as tough as they come in ECW. Tommy Dreamer shifts his weight. 2-0, so close. Great wrestling by Tommy Dreamer. What a complete athlete he has become since joining Eastern Championship Wrestling. Neckbreaker on Hack Myers. Tommy Dreamer's really starting to come into his own. Becoming a bona fide title contender for any title in the sport. Snap suplex by Tommy Dreamer. He wrestles like a junior heavyweight, but he weighs 252 pounds. Whipping on Myers, here he comes. Dreamer sets his head too soon and pays for it as Hack Myers introduces Tommy Dreamer to the canvas. And it appears Hack Myers has some fans here in Philadelphia as well. This could be the beginning of Hackomania. Hack Myers with a shot to the solar plexus. Dreamer shot in, clothesline that floors Tommy Dreamer. Hack Myers says that is all one. Hack Myers is not even close. Tommy Dreamer kicks out at 1. Referee John Finnegan calling the action on this one, calling it down the middle as Hack Myers drops that elbow. What an upset it would be if Hack Myers scored the pinfall over Tommy Dreamer. Dreamer has skyrocketed through the ranks of Eastern Championship. Where's... Oh my! Hack Myers drops the leg across Tommy Dreamer, whose neck, whose throat, whose larynx, esophagus was draped on that bottom rope. Hack Myers has taken it to the streets. Might want to think about taking it back to the barber shop and getting a refund. Snapmare on Tommy Dreamer. And Hack Myers applies a nerve hold to the well-developed trapezius muscle of Tommy Dreamer. Dreamer shot in by Myers. Dreamer ducks the clothesline. High cross body by Tommy Dreamer. 1, 2, and 2.5. Hack Myers and Tommy Dreamer starting to show signs of fatigue. These two have let it all hang out here in our opening match at the Hostile City Showdown here in South Philadelphia. The most hardcore, vicious, violent wrestling city on the planet. And Hack Myers just found that out the hard way. You take the high road, Dreamer just took the low road, and Hack Myers will feel that in the morning. DDT! DDT on Hack Myers. Tommy Dreamer's got to make a cover here. Decides not to, drops the elbow and misses. Hack Myers really strutting his stuff here. I didn't know he had this much offense in him. Hack Myers looking to inch his way up the ladder here at Eastern Championship Wrestling. Wait, Dreamer from behind. Roll up, no, Hack Myers holds on. Dreamer goes for a second try. 1, 2, and... Oh, so close. So close. Myers just slams the head of Tommy Dreamer into the canvas, now choking away. Again, slamming Dreamer's head in. Myers with Dreamer in the corner now. Dreamer shot out by Myers, and Dreamer hit hard. Oh my, did Dreamer hit hard in the corner. And again, Hack Myers says that will be all for Tommy Dreamer. That remains to be seen. Dreamer shot it again, reversal by Tommy Dreamer. Hack Myers goes in face first. Tommy Dreamer going to the top. He can generate that aerial offense. There's the splash, the swan dive by Tommy Dreamer. 2 and 3, and just like that, Tommy Dreamer continues his winning ways here in Eastern Championship Wrestling in our first match of the Hostile City Showdown. You're a winner, Tommy. The Hostile City Showdown continues. Donnie Allen, one of the mainstays here at Eastern Championship Wrestling, is in the ring, awaiting his opponent, Chad Austin.
Wrestling fans, in the corner to my left, now making his home in Mountie from New Jersey, he weighs 183 pounds, Devious
911 has hit the ring. Wait, we've got a match between Chad Austin and Donnie Allen. He grabbed the ref. 911 grabbed hold of the ref. Up and down goes the referee for what reason, I have no idea. 911 has grabbed hold of Chad Austin and Donnie Allen. This can't be, this isn't a matchup. What's he doing? I know what he's doing. I'm not a betting man, but if I were, I'd say these two are going up and down. A lesson in physics from Sir Isaac Dangerously, who is telling 911 to give the referee one more. This is the referee that disqualified him here last month at the ECW Arena. Bad career move. Bad life choice. Pay up your Blue Cross. Wait, Todd Gordon. Todd Gordon just shoved Paulie Dangerously. Oh, boy. Wait a minute. Let him sign my paycheck first, please. Todd Gordon up and down. You don't put your hands on Paulie Dangerously. He just choke slammed the man who owns this company. That's our commissioner. That's Commissioner Gordon. And not even Batman can save anyone who gets in the face of 911. Paulie giving the last rites to Commissioner Gordon, who's Jewish. I don't think Paulie cares. It's too late to save his soul. I believe our illustrious commissioner is going up and down again. He's got children, for Christ's sake. Oh, my. Somebody call Mrs. Gordon and tell her that the commissioner's not coming home. Ever. And the fans love it. Welcome to Philadelphia and the ECW Arena. This is the Hostile City Showdown. The night that no other wrestling organization has the cojones to put on. And yes, I can say that on ECW home video. Oh my, he's got hold of Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer fighting off 911, or trying to. Dreamer really trying to help out the commissioner. But no, I think he's gonna pay. Oh my, Tommy Dreamer up and down. Can anyone stop 911? You know, when Paulie Dangerously first got into this sport, he was just annoying. It was almost cute. He has developed into a bona fide psychopath. And when a man with a twisted brain has an animal with that much brawn behind him, that's a dangerous combination. And listen to these fans chanting 911. Paulie again with the last rites. So a match for Donnie Allen versus Chad Austin. 911 is making a statement. Basically, it's don't screw with me. So get ready to let the dogs loose. We are ready to continue the Hostile City Showdown. And when I say the Hostile City, I'm talking about Philadelphia, because the Liberty Bell isn't the only thing that's cracked in this town, if you know what I mean. You know, I ask you, why would anybody want to be attached to a chain? Whoa, the Tasmaniac. Oh, I guess because the Pitbull's as sick as he is, the Pitbull now stomping away on Taz. He wants to slap that collar on the Tasmaniac. And the Pitbull, the former ECW television champion, now going to work on the Tasmaniac. The Tasmaniac, a former ECW television champion as well. These two have tasted the gold. In fact, the Tasmaniac was one half of the ECW Tag Team Champions with Kevin Sullivan. And the Pitbull just using that chain as a weapon. Oh, he is a sick puppy, and that is no pun intended. Tasmaniac goes over the top. The Pitbull, not the smartest animal in the pound, forgets he's chained to the Tasmaniac. He doesn't get paid by the IQ point, he gets paid for pain. And he is pouring it on. And the Tasmaniac uses the guardrail as a weapon. Only here in ECW will you see that. Everywhere else, that's used for protection. It's a weapon here. I don't know how to stress this. You haven't seen wrestling, real wrestling, hardcore wrestling, until you've seen Eastern Championship Wrestling. I'm not being a spokesman. I'm not being a pitchman. This is a wrestling fan talking to you. I've seen it all, and I love it here in the Eastern Championship Wrestling arena. And right now, the Pitbull does not share my point of view as the Tasmaniac wraps that chain around the Pitbull's neck. The Pitbull reaches over for a chair, and it crowds the Tasmaniac across that thick skull of his. Tasmaniac face first into the canvas. Headbutt by the Tasmaniac. The Pitbull didn't do his homework. Must have missed that class at obedience school. Don't smash the Tasmaniac in the head. He doesn't care. And now the Tasmaniac with a chair. Our cameraman following the action around this arena as the Tasmaniac dumps the Pitbull back to ringside. The Pitbull, the mad dog from hell. This isn't hell, it's Philadelphia. It's hardcore heaven is what it is. I'll be damned, he can read. And he's trying to teach the Tasmaniac, who is not hooked on phonics, but is chained at the neck to the Pitbull. And the Pitbull is starting to get a surge of adrenaline. Jason watching his man from ringside. That's the sexiest man on earth, Jason. The Pitbull now kicking away at the Tasmaniac. He can use those feet as weapons. He can do it all. He's got that martial arts training. He likes to play the pain game, as it were. Wrapping that chain around the Tasmaniac's neck once again. Really trying to choke the Taz out. I mean, what a dream matchup this is. The Pitbull and the Tasmaniac, the two most dangerous animals in professional wrestling, one-on-one here in the ECW arena. Can't quite make out what the fans are saying. Oh, now I can, but I'm not going to repeat that. Two corners have been touched. Remember, you must touch all four corners to get the victory. The Pitbull has touched two corners consecutively. That is three. That is three. Should the Pitbull reach the fourth corner, that will be all for the Tasmaniac. Just inches away. Oh, my, no. Cut off by the Tasmaniac, almost jerks his head off. And that breaks up the count of four. Jason asked if that was four. No, it was three, Jason. 1, 2, 3. Should be familiar with that. You've been pinned enough times in your career. One for the Tasmaniac. Somebody schooled him quickly before the match. 2. That's 3. And that's where it will end as contact was made. Momentum broken. The Tasmaniac crashes to the canvas. And now it's the Pitbull using the ropes for leverage. We've got the greatest fans in the world. But I wouldn't turn my back on any of them. Belly-to-belly suplex, nicely executed by the Pitbull. 2 and you know. We'll call it 2 3/4. The Pitbull arguing the count, but it was clearly 2. Tasmaniac now. That's the T-bone. That's the T-bone suplex. Jason trying to revive his man. Cover. 1, 2, and 2.5. Jason takes great pride in the fact that his suits are always color coordinated with his athlete's tights. Not that anyone cares. Oh, and a Pitbull with a beautiful back kick. What a complete athlete is the Pitbull. Setting up the Tasmaniac for the pile driver. No! Powerbomb! Powerbomb on the Tasmaniac. That may be all. Pitbull opting not to go for the cover. I don't quite... Well, you know, instinct would dictate that you would cover the man. The Pitbull has the presence of mind to realize he's got to touch all 4 corners. So many times in a matchup like this, you see the wrestlers going for covers, forgetting the stipulations. Wait, the Tasmaniac is touching the corners as well. I don't think the Pitbull has any idea. That's 3/4 apiece. The Pitbull has no idea. He thinks he's riding home to victory. He thinks he's got the Tasmaniac in tow. Suplex 1, 2, and 3. 3 count by the Tasmaniac. The Pitbull was going for the 4th corner, but the Tasmaniac cut him up. Wait, there goes the second Pitbull. It's another Pitbull. That's Pitbull 2. I haven't seen him in years. These two used to be tag team partners, but I haven't seen Pitbull number 2 in years. I thought he fell off the face of the earth. I thought they put him to sleep. Well, Jason had a trick up his sleeve, and it was Pitbull number 2, and the Tasmaniac is paying the price. Jason has introduced a new tag team into Eastern Championship Wrestling. The Pitbulls are back. The Tasmaniac whipped in. And I can see the Pitbulls haven't lost a step. These two are championship material. Oh, if I were the Public Enemy, I would beware of the Pitbulls. They're putting that collar back around the Tasmaniac's neck. And they're gonna hang the Tasmaniac. We've got a lynching. The Tasmaniac holding on for dear life. Pitbull 1's got a chair. Jason's directing traffic. And the Pitbulls are trying to dismantle the Tasmaniac. We could be seeing the end of a wrestling career. And Jason pulled a fast one. The Tasmaniac won the battle, but may have lost the war. As Jason has reunited the Pitbulls here in Eastern Championship Wrestling. And cameraman, please turn off the camera. I have seen enough of Jason. Would you see a tag team like the Harris Boys? Ron and Don Harris, better known as the Blues Brothers. Looking to settle a vendetta with Mr. Hughes. who is now under the employ of the franchise Shane Douglas. Ring jacket, doesn't care about the belt, just took it off. He's ready to brawl. Referee barely escapes getting run over by the franchise. We've got all four men in the ring, the Roughneck and the franchise. Well, they're gonna go all over the building. This one is not gonna take place in the ring. Franchise goes face first through a table. And he is paying the price for being the ECW heavyweight champion. The most marked man in wrestling. To his credit, Shane Douglas back to his feet. It's on rubbery legs, though, as Mr. Hughes is in the corner, battling it out with, I believe, Ron Harris. Big right hand by Mr. Hughes. Whip in reversed by Ron Harris. Clothesline ducked by Mr. Hughes. Leapfrog, what agility. Well, Mr. Hughes and Ron Harris showing a bit of quickness. A little chain wrestling didn't last long as Mr. Hughes decided to grab a handful of face. No doubt learned that as a collegiate athlete. And now in comes the classic wrestler, the wrestler of the 90s. The man who exemplifies not only the new generation, but the next generation of professional wrestling, the franchise Shane Douglas. The man can do it all. Well, Mr. Hughes being pulled to the outside. This one's breaking down early. Clothesline on the franchise Shane Douglas. And Douglas goes to the outside. You know, credit to Shane Douglas, this man is the ECW heavyweight champion. He makes his money defending that title. He did not have to get dragged into this vendetta between his man, Mr. Hughes, the offensive line, and the Bruise Brothers. But Shane Douglas likes to fight. Shane Douglas will not back down from any challenge. Shane Douglas is indeed the complete champion. He has issued open challenges to both Ric Flair, the WCW World Heavyweight Champion, and Bret Hart, the WWF World Heavyweight Champion. Both challenges going unanswered. Mr. Hughes makes his way back into the ring with Don Harris, but Ron cuts him off with a chair to the back, and the Roughneck is stunned. And now gasping for air. International photographers snapping away with those flash bulbs. ECW really making headlines lately. Here comes Don Harris, and Mr. Hughes goes down to the outside. Franchise now checking in, doesn't wait for a tag. Well-placed knee, and now it's the Bruise Brother. Donald, I believe, shot from the ring, followed by the franchise, who, as I said, loves to wrestle, can wrestle with the best of them. In the tradition of Lou Thesz, Bruno Sammartino, and the late, great Buddy Rogers, but he enjoys brawling. I mean, he really likes to get his fingernails dirty, as it were. Douglas now back in the ring. Only to be greeted with a snap suplex. Tag back in, and in comes Ron Harris. Ron stomping away on Shane Douglas, planting that size 14, 15 boot into the chest of Shane Douglas. The franchise almost looks like a small child in comparison with the Bruise Brothers. He stands about 6'2", 235 pounds. Douglas shot in, but able to get out of the way, always thinking the thinking's wrestler is the franchise. He's going for the belly-to-belly. He hit. Shane Douglas hit the belly-to-belly. The move taught to him by Magnum TA, former U.S. heavyweight champion. But quite frankly, I think the franchise executes that move better than anyone has ever done so. Mr. Hughes trying to take on both Bruise Brothers, not a wise move. Franchise, I believe, is trying to get a breath. As they spill to the outside again, as you would expect at the Hostile City Showdown. Referee Jim Molyneux trying to keep things under control. Good luck. The offensive line back around this corner to protect his quarterback. Oh my, Shane Douglas getting a chair in the throat. Mr. Hughes put an end to that. He knows who pays the bills. What a formidable team the franchise and the Roughneck have become. Hughes shoots in, Ron Harris. Harris ducks, off he comes, catches the back elbow. And now Mr. Hughes, I believe using his suspenders or his tie as a weapon. Can you imagine how much money Shane Douglas must have paid Jason, the sexiest man alive, for the services of Mr. Hughes? Then again, think of all the money he's saving now without the services of Sherry Martel. I mean, she was no cheap date. I mean, she really likes to hang around money. Either that or she likes much older men. The franchise and the Roughneck working over. Ron Harris in the corner. Don breaks it up with a steel chair. And the franchise has said over the top rope that is not a disqualification here in Eastern Championship Wrestling because this is hardcore. Mr. Hughes playing hardball with one half of the Bruise Brothers. Nothing pretty about this. This is Eastern Championship Wrestling exemplified. Look, even the fans get into the act. Oh my! Ron Harris now unloading on Mr. Hughes. And the fans are loving it. These are hardcore fans. We don't sell foam fingers here in the ECW arena. We tried, but censor said we had the wrong finger. Couple of fingers to the eyes by Mr. Hughes. Reversal on the Irish whip. Off comes right. Sidewalk slam, that is all. Cover. Where's the ref? Mr. Hughes has this match won. But in comes Don Harris. Don Harris kicking off Mr. Hughes. And Ron rolls over on the Roughneck. Again, no referee in sight. 1, 2, and 3. The Bruise Brothers steal a victory from the Roughneck and the franchise. Hardcore tag team wrestling action at its best. The Bruise Brothers continue their winning ways here in Eastern Championship Wrestling. And that is another team the Public Enemy will have to watch their backs for. The franchise and the Roughneck are hot. But the 3 count came down, the Roughneck was pinned, and that is all the Bruise Brothers get to do. Well, Shane Douglas remains the ECW heavyweight champion. Wait a minute.
Won that match. I want a ref. Another ref. Drew Brothers. You boys are going down. You see, I'm the man. This man's got the gold to shoot. We are the men from the hood. I'm Mr. Hughes. And don't you ever forget it. Drew Brothers, you're going down for the last time.
All I can add to that is a hearty, oh, yes.
Well, Mr. Hughes had that match, won with the sidewalk slam. Quite frankly, these two were robbed, but they will return to fight another day here in the ECW arena.
With our Singapore cane match, the winner, the first wrestler to grab the Singapore cane and take it off the pole is the winner. Once again, the first wrestler to take the cane off the pole will be declared the winner. And then he can use the cane in any way he sees fit.
Well, this match will certainly help this card earn the title of Hostile City Showdown. I mean, what's in a name? We've got a Singapore cane match. The match the sponsors said you can't run. The match the censors said you can't run. The match the State Athletic Commission said you can't run. Todd Gordon picked up the phone and said, go to hell. We're gonna promote the first ever Singapore cane match right here in Philadelphia because nobody else has the guts to do it. And there you see the recently separated Sandman and his new manager, woman. And isn't he the consummate actor? Those things are bad for your health. Then again, throws a Singapore cane across their skull. But that's what both of these guys are thinking.
Wrestlers. In the corner to my right, the Vivacious Woman! And the First Lady
So beautiful,
of
yet so deadly.
ECW, Miss Peaches!
And she is just a sweetheart who deserves better than the Sandman.
From Mystic Isle, New Jersey, he weighs 245 pounds. Please welcome Iron Man Tommy Cairo.
Iron Man Tommy Cairo, a former Mr. New Jersey.
He weighs 277 pounds. From Southern Beach, California, this is the Sandman!
And Tommy Cairo wants a piece of the Sandman. Referee John Finnegan telling women to get out of the ring. But she doesn't take orders from any man. And Tommy Cairo really living up to his moniker of the Iron Man. He looks like he was chiseled out of iron itself. And then there's the Sandman. But this is not a powerlifting competition. This is Eastern Championship Wrestling. This is South Philadelphia. And this is the Hostile City Showdown. And this match is going to get ugly as soon as somebody gets their hand on that Singapore cane. Sandman going up early. Belly to back suplex. He paid for it. Spinning kick by the Iron Man. The Iron Man has cleared the ring early and now goes after the Sandman, dropping that elbow. The Sandman rolled back into the ring by Iron Man Tommy Cairo, who's going to the top. You don't see him do this every day. But why not? What a maneuver. 245 pounds used perfectly. There's no cover. You've got to get the cane. Sure, if this was a regular matchup, you'd get the pinfall. The idea is to get your hands on the Singapore cane. The Sandman catches Tommy Cairo, but Cairo fights back. Cairo trying to kick off the Sandman, but the Sandman hanging on doggedly. Cairo redirects his attention towards the Sandman, throws him out of the ring. Oh! And on our timekeeper's table, do not ask for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. Tommy Cairo drops the leg on the Sandman through the table. This is Eastern Championship Wrestling. This is what wrestling should be, what wrestling was meant to be. Hardcore wrestling at its very best. When we're good, we're good. When we're bad, we're the ECW. The Sandman out chasing his wife, Peaches. Thank heaven the Iron Man put a stop to that. He's not above putting his hands on her. And Tommy Cairo again drops the leg. He is fearless. He is throwing caution to the wind. And the Sandman goes downstairs on Iron Man Tommy Cairo. You know, no matter how much you lift, no matter how much you press, you really can't strengthen some parts of the anatomy. Sandman shouting something to his wife. I'm not going to repeat that. Whip in on Tommy Cairo. Back elbow well placed by the Sandman. Catches Tommy Cairo right in the mush. Cairo scooped in, slammed by the Sandman. Sandman now to the outside. Slingshot body splash. Well done by the Sandman, who is deceivingly agile for his 277-pound frame. And the Sandman disrespecting Tommy Cairo, paintbrushing him. And that one was a little louder. Meticulously, methodically well-placed knee behind the ear. And again on Iron Man Tommy Cairo. And the Sandman is again going for the Singapore cane to win the matchup and cane the Iron Man. The Sandman is attempting to climb that pole, but Tommy Cairo returns the favor. The Singapore cane has tumbled from the top. I don't think these two care. They haven't noticed. Iron Man Tommy Cairo using the Sandman's head for a speed bag. Referee John Finnegan plants that Singapore cane in the turnbuckle. Face first suplex by the Sandman. It will be much easier at this point for either one of these competitors to get their hands on that cane, win the match, and cane their opponent. The stakes have been raised by referee John Finnegan. DDT by Iron Man Tommy Cairo. Cairo spots the cane. He doesn't want it yet. He doesn't want it yet. The Sandman just caning Tommy Cairo. Well, it's declared a no contest, no decision, whatever you want to call it. That doesn't help Tommy Cairo right now, as the Sandman is just caning Tommy Cairo. Woman found a second cane and tossed it to the Sandman. He just shoved Peaches. The Sandman just out of nowhere. Woman tossing him a second cane. He said, "The hell with the one in the corner. I'll produce my own." Well, the smoking Sandman still caning away on Tommy Cairo. Peach is going to help out Cairo. Wait, woman's got the cane. Look out, Peaches. No, look out. Oh, my. Woman is caning Peaches in the head. Woman just caned Peaches across the head. This is disgusting. Oh, somebody stop them. Pay your bill. Continues to cane Tommy Cairo. I've seen enough of this. Busted open. He is lacerated severely. appears his left arm has been slashed wide open by the Singapore caning of the Sandman. And poor Peaches. She's out. She may have a concussion. This is tragic. This is truly tragic. Peaches is going to need some sort of medical attention. This entire situation between the Funk brothers and the Public Enemy began unbelievably when Paulie Dangerously brought beautiful Bobby Eaton into Eastern Championship Wrestling to help Sabu defeat Terry Funk. After Paulie Dangerously and beautiful Bobby Eaton assaulted Commissioner Todd Gordon as well as Terry Funk, ring announcer Bob Ortiz, and anyone they can get their hands on, it was Arn Anderson who had followed Bobby Eaton from Atlanta, and the war had begun. This, of course, for all you ECW fans, is show number 53. If you'd like to call up an order.
Because we all kind of know how ugly his daughters are, and they kind of look just like the old man, and they probably talk like this. And Bobby...
Let me tell you one damn thing. Listen here, dog breath. Don't you ever make a snide remark about either one of my daughters.
Okay.
Do you understand me or not?
Okay, I'm just kidding.
Do you understand me or not?
I'm just kidding.
Do you understand me or not? I'm not
just
crapping
kidding.
around with
I know
you.
you're not.
You mention my damn daughters in the same breath. You leave them out of this.
I will. I will.
My family has nothing to do with this.
Okay.
You understand me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You damn sure better.
He put his hands on me.
How many fingers? Not
All of them.
10?
All of them.
10
10 fingers.
How many dollars
And then,
worth?
and then
How many? You know Jolly Green Giant? I know.
When worlds collided and Terry Funk teamed with Arn Anderson to face beautiful Bobby and Sabu, which is now available on ECW Home Video, Arn Anderson turned his back on Terry Funk. He abandoned Terry Funk. The Public Enemy attacked. And now Terry Funk has found the only man he says he can trust on planet Earth. That being his older brother, Dory Funk Jr. And may I remind you, Terry and Dory Funk are the only brothers to both hold the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. And should they be victorious in this grudge match, this non-title matchup against the ECW Tag Team Champions, Flyboy Rocco Rock, Johnny Grudge, the Public Enemy, they would no doubt get a title shot to become the first brother duo ever to hold that title as well. wrestling matchup. He's not watching this tape because ECW is not for everybody. But if you love wrestling, real wrestling, hardcore wrestling, Philadelphia wrestling, then Eastern Championship Wrestling is for you. The action now continues. The title defenses are coming at you. As there we see the challenger for the ECW Television Championship, managed by the so-called sexiest man on earth. Rocket Rebel, the challenger for the ECW Tag Team. The ECW Television title. I'm still visualizing that last matchup. Rocco Rock hanging upside down. Well, you're not going to believe this, but the new ECW Television Champion is about to make his way in the ring. He was a loser, baby, but now he holds the belt. The belt was held by Sabu, by Superfly Jimmy Snuka, by Terry Funk. You can add to that list that historic list of great athletes, the name of Mikey Whipwreck. Hats off to you, Mikey, but your head may be coming off as well. Well, Mikey took the title from the Pitbull. A little help from the Tasmaniac. He hopes to get the belt back tonight. Around the waist of the Rocket Rebel. Okay, Mom, lock up your daughters. Jason's in town.
He weighs 252 pounds. The Anatoly Rock and Roller, the Rockin' Rebel.
And that man has a face only a mother can love. And you'd have to pay her off, too.
He weighs 185 pounds. This is the current ECW Television Champion, Mikey Whipwreck.
From Buffalo, New York, huh? Well, Mikey's got the same won-and-loss record as the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl. He just can't get it done. And the Rockin' Rebel has just already taken it to Mikey Whipwreck. The jersey's been pulled over Mikey's head. Off it comes. Oh, my! The smack of the flesh, the knife-edge chop by the Rockin' Rebel and Mikey Whipwreck. The ECW TV champion looks like a rag doll. This is child abuse. The Rockin' Rebel just measuring Mikey Whipwreck. It's going to be an easy night for the Rockin' Rebel, who will no doubt walk out of this building with the ECW television title wrapped around his waist. Short arm clothesline by the Rockin' Rebel. Well, listen to these fans getting behind Mikey Whipwreck. There's the Rebel, never mind. Vertical suplex coming up. And the Rebel used all of his body weight trying to... Mikey Whipwreck looks like a contortionist right now. And I'm a little tongue-tied. Oh, my! Mikey Whipwreck just taking the beating of his life. I've never seen this kid land a punch, a shot, a kick, anything on anybody ever. Pile driver on Mikey Whipwreck. That should be all. We've got a new ECW TV champion. Well, the Rebel doesn't go for the cover. Well, why not? Mikey shot in by the Rebel. Oh, my! There's a version of the sidewalk slam. There's the cover. No! The Rebel again will not go for the cover. Rather than Jason taking home the ECW television title. Rebel continues to punish Mikey Whipwreck. What a sadistic individual. Whip in once again. Side suplex that jars the vertebrae of Mikey Whipwreck. And the Rebel now really hearing it from the fans here in the ECW arena. The Rebel getting instructions from his manager, Jason. Mikey shot in, ducks. Oh my, Jason just tripped Mikey Whipwreck. What a jerk, there was no need for that. Well, Jason's up on the apron now. I can't stand him. Mikey shot in, leapfrog. Mikey just clotheslined Jason. Mikey scored a shot. Mikey Whipwreck with his first offensive maneuver ever. We have just seen history. Mikey knocked Jason down, but paid for it dearly. And the Rebel now trying to knock Mikey out with that chair. Well, wait a minute, Jason's got that chair. Jason just hit the Rebel. Jason just whacked the Rebel. Mikey's got Jason. Mikey's got Jason. Mikey's bringing Jason in the hard way. And Jason goes face first. That pretty face into the canvas. Mikey Whipwreck's got a hold of Jason. And Jason's taking a beating at the hands of Mikey Whipwreck. And now Mikey's ripping the suit off of Jason. Go, Mikey, go. Go, Mikey, go. Oh, my. It was short-lived as the Rebel just knocked Mikey out with a chair. And now Mikey is at the mercy of Jason and the Rockin' Rebel, and he will have none. Oh, my! This may be the end of Mikey Whipwreck. No, here comes the Tasmaniac. The Tasmaniac is now in the ring. The Tasmaniac now cleaning house on Jason, on the Rockin' Rebel. Headbutt by the Tasmaniac. Belly to belly on Jason. The Tasmaniac has cleared the ring. Wait a minute. Here come the Pit Bulls. The Pit Bulls now being taken out by the Tasmaniac. The Tasmaniac is taking on Jason's entire stable of the Pit Bulls and the Rockin' Rebel. Well, that didn't take long. As now the Pit Bulls and the Rebel have the advantage on the Tasmaniac. Well, Jason's worried about his suit. They're pummeling the Tasmaniac. Jason's got wardrobe troubles. Well, they're setting up the Tasmaniac. Pitbull number 2 lands with a big splash. Pitbull 1 drops the knee. They're trying to dismantle the Tasmaniac. Pitbull 2 again with the splash. Back in comes Jason. Oh my. Rebel now with Nux going to work on the Tasmaniac. Somebody's got to get in there and help the Tasmaniac, or this may be the end of his wrestling career. And Jason drops an elbow. Oh, big man, big man. After Mikey Whipwreck kicked your can all over the ring. Jason with the splash. Well, enough is enough. I believe Jason's stable has done the damage on the Tasmaniac. But the big story, the Rockin' Rebel disqualified for Jason's interference. Mikey Whipwreck retains the ECW television title, if you can believe that one. He'll sleep well tonight. Of course, he'll be on painkillers, but besides the point. It's main event time here at the Hostile City Showdown in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Joey Styles of the Eagles Nest high above the ring. And this is the dream match that ECW promoter, Commissioner Todd Gordon, said he has waited his whole life to promote. And will promote nowhere else but here in Philadelphia. And there you see the Psycho Yuppie, falling dangerously at 911 with Sabu in tow. Sabu, the unpredictable whirlwind of destruction. They said nobody can match him. Move for move. Oh, wait a minute.
My name just happens to be Paul E. Freaking Dangerously. Tonight, in your main event for the interpromotional dream match of the century, the most homicidal, the most suicidal, the most genocidal athlete on the face of the planet.